everyone. Marc Lobliner, Machine Militia, TigerFitness.com. This comes from man Jared. Check it out, man. Hey Mark, I was wondering what your diet supplement suggestions are for a high school swimmer. Let's just say swimmers in general, assuming 18 and older. In season, I swim for about an hour in the morning, about 2 to 3 hours in the evening. On weekends, I lift and do cross training. Off season, I mostly lift and do HIIT. I'm an 18-year-old male, low body fat percentage, and weigh around 146 pounds. I'm 5'11" and swim the 100-meter butterfly. Now here's the deal. It's about training and dieting per your event. Now, what I want to do, what I really want to focus on here is not daily nutrition, but this is where nutrient timing, I believe, matters. I want to see you recover and I want to see you perform. Also remember, as a swimmer, muscle is dense and you sink. You don't want to be too extremely muscular as a swimmer. You want to be lean, but you don't want to be like fucking me. I fucking sink. All right, so what I like to do is I want to kickstart recovery. So what I would do is before training, I'd have carbohydrate. Now you can test what's good for you, but I like to see something like carbolic, carbolin, something like that, even dextrose. Have your breakfast, right? Have your breakfast, which will be, have some good carbs, have some fucking oatmeal and shit for the morning. You wake up, let's see, you swim for an hour in the morning. Have your oatmeal, maybe some protein, about a 2-to-1 carb to protein ratio, 50 or so grams of carbs and about 25 grams of protein, or somewhere in there. And then pre-training, I want to see you have some carbohydrate to protein. I like this in a drink, carbolic or carbolin or something like that, and sip that on your way. Okay, sip that on your way to the swimming pool, or whatever you call it. And I mean, you could go generally you've already had your oatmeal, 25 to 50 grams of carbs and about half that in protein. Now during the swim, and this is all general, it all varies per individual and their goals and their genetics, but this is just very, very general, so I'm giving ranges. During, I like to see you sip on some carbohydrate as well. I like to see between 25 and 50 grams because it's an hour. I'd like to see 25 to 50 grams per hour consumed because swimming is extremely, extremely exhausting and it's hard and you're burning a lot, and that's what I would want to do to keep your performance up. Now sip it during training, constitute in your sippy cup. I'm fucking dad, okay, give me a break. In your water bottle and do that. Now post-training, especially after the first one, I want to kickstart recovery. I know nutrient timing doesn't matter for muscle growth, but I do believe for athletic endurance events that this is necessary. That's where I want to see you consume about 50 to 100 grams of carbs to about a 3-to-1 carb to protein ratio. So that would be about, 50 to 20 grams of protein, somewhere in there, just 20, that's about a scoop. And then rock out if you have, 40, 100 grams to 30 grams if you're doing, if you're doing the 100 grams of carbs. Again, it all depends on the person. Now for the second one, you're swimming for 2 to 3 hours. I'm gonna wanna see you down at least 50 to 150 grams of carbs in those 2 to 3 hours. Follow the same pre-protocol, make sure you get enough adequate food during the day. And then during, of course, you're gonna sip carbohydrate. Post, you wanna get that carbohydrate bolus. Or, I wanna see that, a lot of people say go to whole food, go to whole food. But when I'm dealing with performance athletes, I wanna kickstart recovery. I wanna get these nutrients in them as soon as possible. You gotta realize this isn't for body composition, right? This is for recovery and kickstarting the recovery process. And also to avoid losing too much muscle, because he still has to swim. That does take some muscle. So I would like for him to see him go with the 50 grams of carbs, the 20 grams of protein, somewhere in there. Now he's only 146 pounds at 5'11". That's a skinny motherfucker. So I'm guessing that he burns calories like it's going out of style. So I would like to see him start on the lower end and see what happens. Okay, but that's just considering that as far as nutrition during the day, obviously carbohydrates are your friends, but you also want to have fat. You want to have fat, so you want to keep your fat in the higher range, because you want to make sure you have those energy stores, but you also want to keep carbohydrate and your glycogen adequately filled. So that's why, I almost like to see a zone type 40-40-30. 40-30-30, fucking can't do math. Like a 40-30-30, I want to see a nice ratio of protein, carbs, and fat. And again, we're looking at someone who's probably going to burn a lot of carbs, but you look at the 40-30-30 during the day, right? But you're going to increase your carbohydrate by adding in that 3-to-1 pre and post workout shake. So you're actually gonna have a higher abundance of carbs. Now again, this is all very, very vague because I know nothing about him. I know nothing about his history or his caloric consumption. But I will say, do not be afraid of carbohydrate if you are a performance athlete interested in performance. If you're interested in physique enhancement, that's where we get a little funky. But when I train my performance athletes and they're not fat, they're not overweight, and they're not in a loss phase like a lot of the overweight football players I've dealt with, I want to see them really slam in some carbohydrates and kickstart the recovery process. Now, regardless of what science says, every athlete or even bodybuilder I have worked with, look, I threw in the post-workout shake and 2 weeks ago when I decided not to compete anymore, my carbolic and MTS whey, my recovery is absolutely fucking astounding. It does make a difference. Anecdotally, and I mean, the Tipton studies do show, there is some, there is gonna be some help, but I'm not worried about anabolic. I'm not worried about building muscle. I'm worried about recovering, getting back on that field or in that swimming pool the next day. That's all I'm concerned with. If you want something personal, private, obviously Chuck Rudolph, I used to work with at Scivation, does a lot of that. I don't know where the fuck he's at now. I know he's not on Scivation. I think it was MRM. I think it's Chucky, CHUCKIERD at AOL.com. He does a great job with athletes. I also train athletes and do their nutrition, but I want to give you a couple options because, well, Chuck's a good dude. I'm a better dude. I'm just kidding, I love Chuck. But anyway, guys, that's it. I'm Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. And remember, if you buy cars, buy them from us. Because supporting your boy, that's not a game.
I'm just going to tell you guys, it's not a game.
Oh, that's what's up.